Nick Saban. Nick Saban for you. Luke, you got 2 minutes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm here with Nick Saban. Nick, you know, it's the off season. You seem like a very football-focused guy. Do you take a day off between the end of the season and the beginning of the next season at all?
Yeah, the wife makes sure that we take a day off every now and then, but, you know, it's all about the process. It's something that we really built here at Alabama. It's a process, and that's a year-long thing. It's about, you know, pushing these kids and trying to be the best we can, but sure, you find a time to go out and, you know, me and the wife take a weekend, go out on the boat in the lake, and we have a good time.
Fantastic. Alabama has been a powerhouse for years. Obviously a disappointing season this year. What do you feel was the difference in between this year and your championship seasons?
Well, look, I think anytime you're talking about, you know, playing in the SEC and you're playing against competition like that, it's a play or two. You know, we're, 0.1 seconds away from going into overtime, and maybe that's a different game. And, you know, I got to look back at myself and, you know, was that the right call to kick it? So, you know, it's just one of those things that sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're going to lose. But I'm as proud as that team as any of my championships.
Well, it seems like that is pretty much the preeminent job in college football. Do you have any prospects in the future, anything you feel like is unaccomplished in college football?
Again, I just go back to the process. It's not about winning titles. It's something we preach here at Alabama. And one day at a time, and that process takes care of itself. And then you always challenge yourself. You know, it's one thing to win titles, but all that stuff's in the past. You know, can I win that next day? Can I continue that process? We feel like if we do that, we're going to be successful.
A.J. McCarron's been a big part of your success. Next year, obviously, you're going to have another quarterback. How does your prospects look at the quarterback position?
Well, first, I just want to say A.J. may be the most underrated player that I've ever coached. He's like a son to me. He was a natural-born leader. But, you know, again, going through that process, I hate keep bringing it up, but it's going to be the next guy up. And whoever, you know, steps up and takes hold of this offense and can be a team leader, they're going to be our quarterback, and we're going to feel good when we kick off on August 31st.
Nick, we got 5 seconds. Boxers or briefs?
Indetermined.
Thank you, Luke. Nice job, Sook. And let's start with Mike Lynch. How do you think Luke did?
I thought you did a pretty good job, Luke. The one thing I'm going to say to all the contestants as well as you did it once, and a lot of other ones have done it. Don't respond with fantastic, good when they answer a question. You're having a conversation, but you only did it once, which is fine. You got Nick Saban. I think Sook did a good job making sure Nick Saban was Nick Saban. As Dusty said to Keith, it was a little vanilla, which isn't always bad, especially when you know you're going to get process answers. But I thought you started off with a good, kind of fun, loose question, but was still serious, which kind of probably loosened up him when the interview started as well. So that's a smart thing to do.
And some thoughts from Jeff Austin.
Yeah, not to repeat. In fact, I'm not going to repeat. I think Mike was right on. I was trying to think what I really wanted to know from Nick in that interview. And first of all, when you come into the interview, you want to start off, we're talking with Coach Nick Saban. We're talking to Nick Saban. Yeah. Minor point. You want to set it up, be a little more formal at the beginning, maybe even call him Coach to get him in his comfort zone. Then if you want to call him Nick from there, not a big deal. I would like to know a little more about the bowl game for them because they didn't do too well. Yeah. I also would have liked to have maybe had a question about the play of the year in college football. He was there on the sideline when Auburn took that missed field goal all the way back. I would have asked him a question about that too. But, you know, Nick's not an easy interview. So, I mean, that may have been the easiest interview with Nick Saban ever. So that's a tough chore. So good job.
Yeah. Thanks.
We'll get some thoughts from your coach, Isaac.
Well, Luke, I think you're one of the most polished guys. Actually, I think you're the most polished guy ready to go now, straight out of the box. In this whole competition. You know, what does that mean for the future? I mean, it's hard to nitpick that because you only have a second to get ready. Nick Saban's one of the toughest interviews in there because you really got to prepare good questions for him or he's not going to be happy. And I thought Sook actually let you off the hook with some of your questions because I think Nick Saban would have been more of a, kind of condescending about some of the line of questioning. So I can't be too critical. I like the fact that you tried to get him out of the box, loosen him up early, and then late when you came in with a complete curveball, which I loved. I think that's great because you got nothing else to lose. You're never going to talk to Nick Saban again. You might get a reaction out of him. So I thought it was, all in all, it was good. Could have been better, always could have been better, but you got to consider these circumstances. You're one of the favorites. I think you did a good job.